Learning Zili Nishmas Etta Basagam Masech Sanhedrin Perik Tes Mishna Beis Niskavin Laharig Es Habehema Varig Es Adam La'akum Vaharig Es Yisrael and Nefalim Vaharig Es Ben Kayom. If someone had kavana to kill someone or something that was not a bar chiyuva, like an animal or a goy or a nefel, and they winded up killing a Yisrael Ben Kayama, so he's pater. Rashi in the Mishnah explains because in the kavana, since he didn't have it to kill a ben kayama, so the hasra was not a good hasra. It was a hasra suffix. The Rishash says that he could have just said that you're pater because you didn't have a kavana for a harigas misa. On this, the Gemara is medayik, but if you had kavana to kill a Yisrael ben kayama and you winded up killing a different Yisrael ben kayama, then according to the Tanakama you'll be chayiv. The last line of the Mishnah is going on this, so we'll just say it now. Reb Shimon argues and says, no, afilu niskar v'har gezeh v'har gezeh, pater, Reb Shimon holds that you need to have kavana for the person that you're killing, and therefore niskavin l'har Yisrael zeh v'har Yisrael achar will be pater. Also, the Mishnah now, the next 4 cases are telling us that you need to have a kavana to kill in a way that the person is going to die, and he has to obviously wind up having a makkah that was roi to die. But if the makkah wasn't something that was roi for him to die and he died anyhow, then you'll be pater. So for either mitzad the kavana or mitzad what happened. So now we'll just speak out the cases. Niskaven laharig la'kaisa al masna v'loy hayabai kidei lahamis al masna v'hocha aliba v'hayabai kidei lahamis aliba umeis pater. So here you're pater because the kavana was to go on his thigh area where it wasn't kidei lahamis. Even though it winded up going on his heart, you're pater because of the kavana wasn't right. Or niskaven lahakaisa aliba v'hayabai kidei lahamis aliba v'hocha la masna v'hayabai kidei lahamis al masna umeis pater. So over here, even though you had kavana to hit him on his heart, which was ready to die, but since at the end of the day the makkah went on his masnav, and the masnav it didn't have enough kidei lahamis, even though he winded up dying, your pater mitzad the hakah wasn't a hakah that was ready lahamis. And now the Mishnah just says these same 2 cases by a gadol and a katan. So niskaven lahakaisa is a gadol, v'hoyeba kidei lahamis a gadol. To kill an adult it wasn't enough. Hochalal a katan, a smaller person. V'hoyeba kidei lahamis is a katan. Umeis is pater, because mitzad the kavana wasn't enough, and huadim, next case mitzad the hariga wasn't enough, because niskaven lahakis is hakatim, v'hayabak kidei lahamis is hakatim, v'hochalei agadol, v'hayabak kidei lahamis is hagadol, winded up going on a gadol, and it didn't have kidei lahamis is hagadol, this bigger person, the ma'isa, he winded up dying anyhow, you're pater. But the next 2 cases, you're going to be chayiv, because the kavana was good enough, and when they hit the person, it had enough kidei lahamis. So it was just a chayr pashin. It's kaven lahakis al masnav v'hayaba kidei lahamis al masnav. Even though it went on a different part, halchal alibay umeis chayiv, because you had the kavana and you had the hariga. And it's kaven lahakis is a gadol v'hayaba kidei lahamis is a gadol v'halchal al katan umeis chayiv. The kavana was on a gadol and it had kidei lahamis by a gadol. In this case, even though it winded up killing someone who was smaller, you're going to be chayiv. And the last line we said was going on the diak of the Reisha, the Reb Shimon held, Afilu niskaven l'har gezeh v'har gezeh pater, where the Tanakama held, niskaven l'Yisrael zeh v'har l'Yisrael acher yechayiv, the Reb Shimon holds that you're pater. Mishnah Gimel, Reitzeach shenis'arav ba'acherim, kulam peturim. If a Reitzeach winded up getting mixed up with other people, which the Gemara explains, Maskanas HaGemara is a case of 2 people that were standing, and the Yatza Chetz me b'neim, one of them shot an arrow, so both of them are pater, even though Rabbi Yossi says, Afilu Abba Chalafta b'neim, even one of these 2 people was a real chashuv person like Abba Chalafta, the other person, we don't say he automatically did it, because the Maisa there's no Edom Asar that he did it, and therefore they're both going to be pater. But the Gemara now speaks in Chesurei Mechsar v'Achikatani, if it was a shar, shenigmar dinoi, shenisar b'shvarim acherim ma'alyim, so now the halacha is that the shar haniskal, because we don't know which one it is, so all the other shvarim also, we have to be seikl noisei. Afilu hein hel, if we don't say it's batal. And therefore, in order to be mekayim the mitzvah of skila, we would all give them skila. And on that, now you stick in, now the Mishnah continues, Rabbi Yehuda argues on that case and says, you don't need to be Mekayim the mitzvah of skila. You could put all the shards in a kippah and they'll die memela. Rashi explains, because it's a tircha on Bezdin to do skila, there's no chiyuv to do skila. The Mishnah continues back to the way we started off the sugya of the Arba Mises Bezdin about what's mechuyev, the machlekes, the Tanakama, and Reb Shimon, what's more chamer. The machlekes, the Tanakama, Reb Shimon between skila and sreifa, and another machlekes between hereg and chenek. So, kol chayvim mises and nis'arv zebazeh nidoinim bekalev. You have two chayvim mises that were nis'arv, so you don't know which one to give him. So mehechet tasted to give him the more chamer one, we could only give him the more kal one. Haniskalim b'nisrafin. So the first example is someone who's mechuyev skila got mixed up in nisrafin, even if they're the roiv, where b'sreifa, Reb Shimon Omer nidain b'skila. Shasreifa chamur. Reb Shimon holds that you can only give him skila because sreifa is more chamer, and the chacham hold nidoinim b'sreifa because shaskila chamura, so you can only give him the kal. They both agree that you give him the kal. The machlekes is sreifa chamur, the chacham holds skila is chamer. Amalhem Reb Shimon, I'll bring you a raya sreifa is chamer, because ilu loy haisa sreifa chamura le'nidlo baskain shezinsa. How come you give it to baskain shezinsa? So just speak out. The Gemara, again, earlier in the 7th parak by Arba Mises, says that this Reb Shimon is l'shitasai to something we learned in the beginning of this parak, which I spoke out that when we say that a baskain shezinsa gets reifa, it was talking about dafka min hanasuin. Reb Shimon argues on that. Reb Shimon holds that even min erisin, because he holds that even though a naimer ratz is mechuyev skila, still over here you get reifa. So that's a raya that reifa is more chamer. Amaloi, but the Chamim argue, I'll bring you raya skila is more chamer because you give it to someone who's megadef in avodah zara. So that's one machlekes. And now haneragim and nachnakim, if someone who's mechuyev hereg got mixed up with chenek, over here they have the same machlek, a different machlekes. Reb Shimon Omer b'sayif. Reb Shimon says that you give sayif because chenek's more chamer. V'cham Omer b'chenek, you can only give chenek the more kal one because he holds that sayif is more chamer.